Good evening, and a very Merry Christmas to all of you watching. This is Mr. Strange, and on this cold winter night, as the lights glow in the windows and the world grows quiet, I'd like to thank every one of you for joining me on these journeys into the darker corners of our past. Christmas is a time of warmth, of hope, and of memory. But it is also a night when old stories return and the shadows grow long and the ghosts of history draw a little closer to the living. So pour yourself a drink, sit back by the fire and join me for a Christmas tale unlike any other. There is a house in Liverpool older than most of the city itself, a farmhouse built in 1615, when kings still ruled and the world felt smaller beneath the winter sky. Above the door, the stone bears the mark of the first master, J.M. 1615, John Mercer, yeoman farmer. And through the centuries have passed, the house still breathes with his memory. It is called Tue Brook House, and those who have lived nearby whisper that it is never so alive as it is on Christmas Eve. It was once a proud farmhouse, its beams dark with smoke, its floors worn smooth by generations. Inside, concealed between two bedrooms, lies a secret priest hole carved into the chimney breast, a hiding place for a Catholic priest during the Civil War, a sanctuary from Cromwell's soldiers. And on winter nights, people swore they heard echoes of that terror. Sometimes hoofbeats were heard on the cobbles outside the house, even when no horses passed that way anymore. The house remembered, and it remembered most sharply on Christmas Eve. Residents have spoken softly of strange happenings. Some called it quirky, others refused to stay alone after dark. Through the 1920s, neighbours told stories of a tall man in old farm clothes seen walking past the lower window at midnight every Christmas Eve, his boots leaving no prints in the frost. In the 1930s, a lodger staying in the upper room heard the priest hole door creak open by itself, and a whispering prayer spoken in Latin drifting through the dark. And always the sound of hooves outside the house, pacing, turning, waiting. But the most detailed and the most terrifying account came from the 1950s. It was Christmas Eve. A young family had moved into Tue Brook House only a few months earlier. The father worked evenings, the mother stayed up late wrapping presents by the fire, while the children slept upstairs beneath heavy blankets. The radio played softly in the corner, gentle Christmas music crackling faintly. Outside, snow fell across Liverpool like powdered sugar. The house was quiet at first. Not pipes, not movement in the walls, chains, deliberate, heavy. They moved as if someone below the house was struggling to rise and failing. Then, from the old chimney breast, a man's voice, faint, hoarse, and praying. She stood frozen beside the fire. The children remained asleep. The radio cut out to static, and then came the knock. Not at the door, at the memory of the door. And over the sound, men shouting in distant echo. "Open! In the name of Cromwell!" The past had stepped into the present. The mother turned slowly toward the window, and there, just as countless witnesses before, stood the old farmer. Tall, worn, eyes filled with grief and patience. He was dressed in coarse 17th century clothing, hands clasped behind his back, his breath not misting in the winter air. Every Christmas Eve, people would later say he returns, not to frighten, but to watch the snow, as if waiting for the moment he could never change. The mother whispered his name aloud, without knowing why. "John." The farmer turned his head, and the house exhaled. Then it happened. The walls shimmered, the air thickened, and the room changed. The wallpaper vanished. Electric lights faded. The living room had become the farmhouse as it was in the 1600s. A wooden table stood in the center. A goose roasted upon it, steam rising into the candlelit air. Outside the window, sheep and horses stood in the snow, silent and unmoving. And around the table, people, a family, laughing softly, oblivious to the woman staring at them from across centuries. She could smell the food, feel the heat, hear the faint click of wooden plates. She wasn't seeing ghosts. She was seeing Christmas as it once was. A memory so alive, it stepped into the present. Then, the room returned, the radio resumed, the fire burned low. Only one figure remained, the old farmer. He looked at the mother and spoke for the first and only time. "Remember us on this night." Then he was gone, and from below the floor, the chains fell silent. Today, Tue Brook House is still privately owned. Those who live there say life is peaceful, but every Christmas Eve, the air changes. Footsteps on the landing, whispers near the chimney, and sometimes still hooves on the cobbles outside. Neighbors say the farmer returns, standing by the window. As he always has, the house does not cry out in horror. It does something stranger. It remembers, and on Christmas Eve, its memories wake. An entry found in an old diary, once kept by the previous residents, described a figure seen on Christmas Eve, standing by the staircase. A farmer-like gentleman, his boots rimmed with mud, his coat dusted with snow, staring as though searching for someone who was not there. When she tried to speak to him, he simply faded. A young couple who lived there in the late 70s reported that every Christmas Eve, without fail, they heard banging at the door, followed by the echo of men shouting outside, soldiers' voices demanding entry. When they opened the door, there was nothing but empty snow and quiet streets. Yet, the sound always came from below the ground, as if replayed from deep beneath the house, from the night Cromwell's men searched for hidden priests. The current owners rarely speak publicly about what happens there, but private conversations tell a similar tale. On Christmas Eve, doors swell and refuse to open. Cold patches bloom along the staircase, and a shadowy figure of an old man in work boots is sometimes seen standing at the bottom of the bed, as though quietly keeping watch, not threatening, not angry, just present, as though he still believes the house is his. And Christmas Eve is the night he must return. During renovations in the late 20th century, builders opened part of the chimney breast near the secret priest hole and discovered a small iron object wrapped in decaying cloth. Inside, a tarnished pewter cross, a cracked wooden rosary bead, and a hand-carved token bearing the initials J.M. Some believe it belonged to John Mercer himself. Others say it was left behind by the priest who hid them there. A relic of fear and faith sealed inside the walls. From the moment it was disturbed, witnesses claimed the activity in the house intensified every Christmas Eve, as though the past had been awakened and could never be put back to rest. Over time, legends have grown around Tue Brook House, one whispered by locals, cab drivers, knife ship workers, and those who pass along West Derby Road in the small hours of Christmas morning. They say that if you stand near the house at the stroke of midnight, and the distant sound of Christmas mass bells begins to drift across the cold winter air, just as they once rang from the old local church centuries ago. Something stirs. Witnesses claim that the bells toll. Two figures appear at the front of the house. A man in old work clothes, his coat threadbare and the shoulders stooped, and beside him, a woman in a long winter shawl, her hands clasped tightly as if bracing against the cold. They do not speak. They do not look at the living. Instead, they walk forward and pass straight through the stone wall, vanishing into the darkness beyond, as if the house is no longer solid to them, or they are no longer part of our world. More than one passing driver has reported slamming their brakes on Christmas Eve, believing they were about to hit two pedestrians crossing the road, only to watch the figures dissolve into thin air, leaving nothing but snow and silence. Some say they are John Mercer and his wife, forever returning home. Others believe they may be residents who once sheltered the hidden priest, caught eternally in a moment of fear, frozen in Christmas time. But always the bell comes first. So, what could be so significant about Christmas Eve? Christmas Eve has always been a night of thresholds. The old storytellers believed it was the moment when the veil between worlds grows thin, when memories, regrets, and the ghosts of the past can cross back over, if only for one single winter night. But there may be something deeper, stranger, more rooted in the stones themselves. Some researchers have suggested that places like Tue Brook House may not be haunted in the traditional sense, but recorded. According to the stone tape theory, Intense human emotions, fear, grief, devotion, trauma can imprint themselves onto the materials of the building. Ancient timber beams, stone floors, thick farmhouse walls, the earth beneath the foundations, like a wax cylinder or magnetic tape. The house stores moments in time, and when a particular set of conditions align, cold air, atmospheric pressure, and perhaps the emotional weight of Christmas Eve itself, those moments play back, not as living spirits, but as echoes of history caught in a loop. The chains beneath the floor, the soldiers at the door, the priest hiding in the chimney, the farmer and his wife returning home to the house that no longer belongs to them. Christmas Eve is this theory. It is not simply a holy night. It is the strongest emotional imprint the house ever knew. A night of fear, a night of faith, a night preserved in stone. And so, every year, the memories return, not to frighten, but because the house remembers. So, what truly happens at Tue Brook House on Christmas Eve? Are these the restless dead returning to a life long gone? Or are we simply witnessing the past replaying itself, etched forever into ancient stone, like a ghostly recording of a single winter night? Perhaps in this house, Christmas Eve is not just a date on the calendar. It is a moment caught in time, echoing forever. And so the legend endures. The chains beneath the floor, the soldiers at the door, the farmhouse frozen in time, and the old farmer who returns each year when the world goes still and Christmas Eve falls upon Tue Brook House. Some say it is reliving a single night from centuries ago. Others believe he is guarding the house he built, watching over it, making sure it is never truly forgotten. Whatever the truth may be, on Christmas Eve, this house remembers. And as our story draws to a close on this cold Christmas night, I'm reminded that for all its ghosts and mysteries, Christmas is not truly about the shadows of the past. It is about the light we carry in the present, the old houses, the forgotten rooms, the echoes of those who came before us. They remind us how precious every moment is and how deeply our lives are woven together across time. So wherever you are tonight, whether you're gathering with family, sharing laughter and warmth, or remembering those you've loved and lost, I hope this season brings you peace, kindness, and the comfort of knowing that none of us ever really walk alone. From my heart to yours, and to everyone here watching Mr. Strange, I wish you a very Merry Christmas, a night of love, hope, and of home. Good night, and thank you for watching. I am Mr. Strange, and this has been another haunted tale from Liverpool's past. Good night.